people. Thank you very much for being here. It's a real pleasure to have you in another session of webinars with JCI and the intrusion line. My name is Hernan Herrera. I'm the product manager for the LATAM market, including the Caribbean. And I'm very happy to co-host this webinar. Today, we're going to have a very interesting topic about the new detectors and the new technology that we have of PowerG Plus built on top of the amazing PowerG technology that we have had for more than a decade. And today I have a very, very special guest. We have Max Young, which is our product manager for the security sensors and practically the owner of the PowerG Plus technology. So we're just going to start by saying that we are really, really thankful of you joining this call. I know that for many people, especially in the Caribbean, it has been a tough week with all the issues that happened there with the hurricane, and we are all waiting or expecting that you guys are okay and that you can recover in all the countries that had the situation, especially in Jamaica. So for the ones that are from Jamaica, thank you a lot for being here. I know it's a great effort, and hope that everything is back to normal as soon as possible. So Max, hey, how are you?
Hernan, thank you. It's great to be here. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody that's here. As Hernan said, I'm Muggs Young. I'm the product manager that manages our security sensors. So everything PowerG Plus on the security side, whether it be door window contacts, motion detectors, glass break detectors, you name it. If it's a security sensor and it has PowerG, it's mine. So I'm really glad to be here. Give you a little background about myself. So I've been with JCI for a little over a year, but I've been in the security industry for the last 14 years. I had a lot more hair back when I started in the security industry, and you can see what it's done to me. So I'm here. I've worked at several different larger security companies in the U.S. I'm based in Colorado, so JCI was a great fit for me, and just love being here. So during the presentation, you'll hear me refer to some of my past experiences as I'm going through things. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post them, and Hernan and I will answer them.
Yep. So we have in the tool on the right side, there is a question mark or the questions session or section, sorry. And please just post the questions there as we are talking. I will be answering whatever I can via text on the tool. And at the end, we're going to have a small Q&A session. So we are going to answer the most important ones. Don't worry if your question hasn't been answered. We're going to approach you by email, and we'll send you the answer in our contact as well. So, okay, man, just let's go.
All right, can you still see the screen?
Yes.
All right, here we go. So how has PowerG changed the game? And that's a question we get asked a lot. When you look at it, PowerG launched back in 2011. It took us a couple years of intensive engineering development to come up with PowerG. And in between 2011 and 2024, we now have over 40 devices in 4 different panel families. So 2025 saw us launch PowerG Plus, which is the latest iteration of PowerG. Some features include over-the-air updates, battery reporting, dealer lockdown, battery pull tabs, two-factor authentication pairing. These were all features that were heavily requested by our customers, and so we wanted to meet their needs and their demands. This is a slide that just shows the 4 different panels. So we have the IQ panel. Soon we'll have an IQ 5 if you're not familiar with the next release that's coming up shortly. We have the DSC Power Series Neo and the Power Series Pro, Bisonic, and then IQ Pro. So when you look at wireless systems, and back when I started in 2011 in security, I was actually working on a platform that had Zigbee. Zigbee was our wireless protocol. So at the time, Zigbee was great. It was on 2.4 gigahertz. The spectrum hadn't been flooded yet with all of these wireless devices that we now see in the house. And then of course we had Z-Wave. This is just based in the US, and that was on the 900 megahertz spectrum. And at that point, Z-Wave was less reliable because of everything that resided on that spectrum, including the cordless phones in the houses. Well, what you had in the strength with the wireless systems were obviously there was no wiring, so you didn't have to run wires in an existing house, which led to faster installations. Of course, with the disadvantages, and we've now seen it, the interference became a big issue. So the interference sensors would drop off, they would lose their communication with the panel, and then therefore not work properly. The system wouldn't work properly. The other issue we ran into was the limited range, and then of course battery life. Battery life's a huge thing, especially for dealers when they're having to go out to change batteries. That's a truck roll, that costs money, and then if they go out today and then 2 months later they have to go out for another battery change, that's just more money for them. So of course PowerG had all the answers. We had the range. It's up to 2,000 meters, which is industry leading. Nobody has a range farther than us. Some of our competitors are catching up, but PowerG is still the gold standard when it comes to range. Battery life, some of our devices last up to 8 years, which is unheard of. Back when I started, it was really 2 years was the most you'd get out of anything. Faster installations. So with this, we have the power signal indicator during the walk test, and you can see it'll be red. Is it red, orange, and green, Hernan?
I'm sorry, Max?
The LED indicator on the walk test, we give them red, green, and orange, correct?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. So obviously green is the best strength, red is the worst. It tells the technician, just how the signal strength is to the panel from the device. And then obviously the technology side of it. So we have the frequency hopping, we have 128-bit encryption, and then the two-way remote configuration. So as you're going through this and you're looking for a wireless protocol to install in a customer's home, you have to ask yourself some questions. Would you trust a doctor that has 3-star ratings? Would you be happy if your kid just went from grade to grade with just average or below average grades? What if your fridge only worked 80% of the time? And if you were in a plane, would you rather have a young pilot or an experienced pilot? So why would you just settle for good enough with security? Why wouldn't you want the best? And that, of course, is what PowerG is. So now presenting PowerG. So this is an overview slide here, and it shows some of the things I talked about earlier and what PowerG Plus is. The battery level reporting. For dealers, this is a big thing because when they're on a service call for a battery replacement, or any really service call for that matter, while they're there, they can check all of the devices and check their battery levels. And if they see that there are some that are getting low, they can be proactive and they can replace them while on site, which saves truck rolls, saves time, and of course, saves money. One of the other features of PowerG Plus that we're doing is we're going to have colored sensors this time. So you may be familiar with some of our brown sensors on the PowerG line. Well, PowerG Plus is also going to introduce black sensors. So we'll have white, black, and brown sensors in the vanishing contact, the PGP 9303, and then the PGP 9945E. Obviously, we have a brand new look. We went away from the glossy finish on the sensors, and we now have a matte finish. Rounded edges, it looks more modern. You'll see in some of the other slides, we have pictures of these devices. The two-factor authentication, I mentioned this earlier. So basically what this does, when a technician goes to pair the device, they have to enter the PIN code that's listed on the sticker on the sensor. And that way they ensure that the device pairs to the correct panel. So what do you need for PowerG Plus? You need to be on 461 on the IQ panel. If you're on a previous version, it doesn't support PowerG Plus. The sensors enroll in fallback mode or legacy mode. And so in order to get those PowerG Plus features, the panel has to be up to date on 461. And then if you had previously installed a PowerG Plus sensor on another version, you'll have to remove that sensor and re-add it in order to get those PowerG Plus features to be enabled. So we talked earlier about dealer lockdown. So this is one of our most heavily requested features. And dealer lockdown, what it does is it locks the sensors to your unique dealer code. It prevents the sensor from being taken over by a competitor, which then of course, ensures that your business stays stable and constant with that customer, and it can't be taken over. So this is an example here that you'll see on the left. The sensor was added with dealer code 7812, and then when the competitor comes in and tries to take it over, they would receive that message, unsupported dealer code, preventing that sensor from being added to their panel. So battery reporting, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but you can see here, this is a view on the right side. This is a view of the settings, the advanced settings for technicians. It shows you that battery percentage. This is how you get to it on the left, this little overview. This is only going to be visible right now to technicians. And then in a future release, we'll have it available to be visible to customers. However, this will be a dealer controlled setting. So if you don't want your customer to see that battery, because this can lead to unnecessary phone calls and truck rolls, you can hide it. You don't have to show it to them. So this is the vanishing contact, the PGP 9303. Like I mentioned, we're also going to have the black and the brown sensors. We have a full length magnet for enhanced reliability, the battery life reporting, the signal strength LED that we mentioned earlier, and it's a good looking sensor too. This is the 9945, the PGP 9945E. So same as the vanishing contact, it has the full length magnet, but this one has the selectable auxiliary input. So you can add inputs to it via by removing the cover. This is used a lot. You can use it with wired systems. You can use it with smoke detectors, black and brown sensors as well. Here we have the IO module. So this looks very similar to the 9945E. And one of the things here that we don't have in the picture is for Latin America, we are including the magnetic contact. So you have the option to have 4 inputs or 2 inputs and 2 outputs with this device. So some of the use cases that we have for it, you have fog generators. So if there's a break-in, say at a bank, you can trip that fog generator. In a residential application, if you have a gate at your house, you can open and close the gate using the IoG. This is our indoor peer cam. We have an improved camera on this one compared to the PowerG version. This supports HD images, as you'll see there, the 1280 by 720. The camera also has an extended range, so it can detect and take pictures of people or objects farther away from it than the PowerG variant. And we have the optional pet immunity. So by default, the mask does not come installed. It comes in a separate bag inside the box, and you would then insert that to get the pet immunity to activate. Here's our motion detector. True motion recognition helps reduce false alarms along with the pet immunity. And we also have the faster enrollment through the battery pull tabs. One thing I'll stop and talk about here that I kind of forgot to mention before, the battery pull tab is a new feature in PowerG Plus. And so basically what it is, it's a tab that you pull and immediately the sensor goes into pairing mode. So it saves really seconds on the install, but the seconds add up over the course of a year. The technician no longer has to open the device, insert the battery, close the device, and put it in pairing mode. Pulling the battery tab just puts it straight into pairing mode and it connects with the panel. Our glass break detector. So this is fully calibrated. There's nothing that the technician has to do to calibrate it or to switch any dip switches like we had in the previous version. We also have the expanded range of 7.6 meters or 25 feet. It also reports the ambient temperature along with the battery reporting. So this is nice for customers to be able to see what the temperature is in that room where the glass break is. Our repeater. So in the event that you have a large install, you can add a repeater which will extend the range that the sensors can communicate to the panel. Right now you can only add 1 repeater, but like I said, it does extend it, basically doubles the range. We also have a 48-hour battery backup. So if power is lost, the repeater will continue to function for 48 hours. We have our PowerG Plus host. You can see here we have improved transmission. It's fully supervised wireless detectors. This is a newer variant, follows the same PowerG Plus look and feel. Our water tile came out a few months ago, and this is a new leak detection device. I love this one. I think it looks great. It's smaller, as you can see here. It's pretty small. I've got it on my desk, and you just set it down on the floor underneath a washing machine, a toilet, a dishwasher, wherever there might be a water leak. And then one of the things we have too with it is a low temperature alert. If the temperature gets low and the pipes may freeze, the device will send an alert to the panel, and the panel will then alert the user. One of the things too you'll notice on here, we have accessory packs. So these are pretty exciting for us. You're probably familiar with the sensing probe that would run down the wall and sit on the floor. Well, now we also have a 6-foot sensing cable. So the entire cable can sense water. So if you have a large area you need to cover, you just set it on the floor, and if water touches anywhere on that cable, it'll then notify the panel and trip the alarm. And then of course, in the bottom right-hand corner, you can see the bracket that the water tile goes into, and it just snaps in there, and the panel automatically recognizes when it's in the bracket, so that it knows if it's tampered or if it's removed from the bracket. So here's PowerG Plus smoke heat detector. So in Latin America, this is coming soon. It'll be available in the early 2027. Is that right, Hernan?
2026.
Sorry, 2026. 2026. So this has been one the customers have waited for a long time. It has the CR123 battery, which a lot of the devices are moving to. We found that we can get better battery life out of these. We have the PowerG Plus heat only. It's available now in Latin America except Mexico. It's still going through some of these Mexican certifications. So we're hoping those will be done by November, and then so if you're in Mexico, you'll be able to order it at that point. But until the certifications are done, it won't be available there. But this detects heat only, which is another highly requested device that customers have wanted for a while. We have our PowerG Plus S-Line CO detector. So the CO is coming out late in 2026, probably about a year from now is what our best guess is. But you'll see we have the 10-year CO sensor life. We're using AAA batteries in this one. It follows the same look and feel as PowerG Plus, and this one is fairly small. I don't have one here to show you, but it's a lot smaller than what you've normally seen with the CO detector. This one, our PowerG Plus lock with the touchscreen. So this is looking like it's going to be released in the July timeframe. You see here that this is a keyless lock. It's touchscreen only. I was at Canasta last week, and one of the questions I got a lot with this one was, what happens if the battery dies? Well, you can't see it here, but underneath on the bottom, there's a probe that you can insert a 9-volt battery, and that'll power the lock and unlock the lock. So customers won't be locked out of their house if they don't change the battery when they get that low battery message. We have the PowerG Plus 3-way switch and dimmer. These are out now. Customers are very excited about this because it brings that automation of the lights that it makes a dumb light smart, I guess is what I'm trying to say, where think your dining room lights, for you may have a chandelier in there with 5 or 10 light bulbs. Now you can control it remotely. Same with your living room lights. So that's PowerG Plus. Now, Hernan, do we have any questions, comments from the audience?
Not right now, but I want to just comment something just in addition regarding what you said. All of these features and news that you have heard from us are actually comments and feedback that we got from our customers, right? And the new products like the water tile, for example, or the PGIO, which is what we call the wireless PGM module. These were really something that was requested for a long time for our customers, and now in PowerG Plus we have it available. So regarding the PowerG water tile, this is a device that we have heard or that we know that we use, and the customers have been requested to have a version like the one that Max showed. But we also know that this is something that is not being implemented in most of the installations. So our recommendation is right now that we can, or that you having now this possibility to offer it to your customers. This would be really, really a differentiator from your company to the other offers that this customer is receiving. So we want you to get the following idea. If a customer, I mean, most of the customers in the commercial segment, stores, cafeterias, uh, boutiques, everything, there is a place where you store some goods, boxes, equipment, inventory at the end of the day. And all of these are really suitable to, or really prompt to have floods. And when you have floods on in these places, the consequences are really bad, right? Like for example, right now with all these storms and all that, even if there are some zones that are not that affected in such a bad way, you would definitely want to know when your property is being affected by a flood, right? So it is better that to have this notification, or that your customer receives this notification in advance, and not the other day, the next day when they arrive and they see everything floating, right? So this is something that we are trying to promote a lot with the water sensor, is that you can differentiate your offer from the others, because the others are only thinking in the PIR, in the magnetic contact, and the good ones in the glass breaks, right? But doing this for your customer could be the decision maker in the brain of your customer to say, hey, these guys thought not only in putting a bunch of sensors, but they are actually thinking in the protection of my goods, in protection of my furniture, or my installation per se. So just try to do that. Try to offer this device, and you will see how customer is going to, now you're going to be different from the others. Same thing, for example, with the smoke sensors and the heat sensors, right? These are, I mean, the benefits are, they speak for themselves. And it's also a device that most installation companies and most installers, they don't offer, right? When actually is a very good asset to have in your house, or in your home, or in your business. So those are type of differentiators. Talking about the heat detector, we of course have very clear the smoke detector, but the heat detector is something that we believe needs to be better promoted by everyone, because in every place, especially in the residential, you have kitchens, yeah, right? You have places that you cannot use the smoke sensor, but actually are the ones that are, I mean, the source of a fire. What a better source of a fire than a kitchen, right? And we don't use the smoke sensors in those places because of the problems that we could have, but we have the heat sensor. So we are promoting a lot as well the use of the heat sensor in these type of applications. So your customer feels that it's not only that you want that account, that new account into your system, but actually that you are concerned and that you are worried about their safety, their security as well. And that could be just the thing that will make the customer to decide for your offer instead of the other offers, even if your offer could be even more expensive, right? At the end of the day, if the customer says, you know what, I don't need a smoke sensor, I don't need a water sensor, that's okay. But he knows that you were thinking about him and about an integral and a holistic security and safety solution for him. So yeah, I just wanted to add that, because many times we just think of the basic ones, right? The PIR and the magnetic contact in the front door, and that's it. So let's think a bit more about the other solutions, and what else you can do for the customers, so they feel that you're actually thinking entirely in their solution, and not just want to make it another customer in your database.
Yeah,
Right?
so I want to add something there, Hernan, about the water tile. So my experience in security has been that security is very reactionary when it comes from the customer standpoint. A lot of our new customers that we acquired them after a break-in. So they didn't see the need or feel the need to have a security system until they were broken into. And of course, by then, they get the security system after it happens. And security systems can't prevent a break-in, but they can help obviously alert the police, and notify them so that they can apprehend the criminals. But a lot of times it happens after the break-in. And I feel the same thing happens with the water tile. If you haven't had water damage in your house, you don't see the need in it. Being that I've been in the security industry for a long time now, I've always had the flood sensors. I think they're fantastic. And we actually had a pipe freeze a few years ago and burst in our basement, flooded our basement. 4,000 gallons of water came out over the span of a few hours. We were 2 hours away in the mountains when it happened, and I had a flood sensor in our storage room underneath our hot water tank. The water got within 3 feet of the sensor, but it never tripped it. So we didn't know until we got home, and water had, like I said, poured out of this pipe. And we had just installed new carpet in our basement the week before, so it was about a $20,000 claim with the insurance company. But I feel if we can share those experiences the customers have with floods, with the water damage, it'll make the customers think about having it, and it won't be as reactionary. It'll be more proactive than anything. So I think that's the other thing too, especially with security, is customers don't know sometimes what they need until, like I've said,
Exactly.
something's already happened. So I think it's up to
And they don't know.
us.
They don't know what's available for them, right? That's the other thing. They don't know that there is smoke heat detector, the flood sensor, the glass break, the outdoor sensors, the curtain sensors, because they probably only know what is more common, right? The magnetic contact on the door, the PIR in the living room, and that's it. So the most exposure that we give to these devices is going to bring more needs that the customer need to cover, right? And that they actually don't know, and that's why they don't ask them or ask for them. So yeah, it is a good part of uh, the recommendations that you can do, and the evaluation of the sites that you can do for the customer. And at the end of the day, the customer will decide. But if they don't know that you can have a water tile, they will never ask for the water tile, right?
And you at least introduce it to them so they think about it. They may not want it at the time of install, but maybe a month goes by, maybe their friend has a water incident, and they go, you know what, I should have a water tile. And frankly, if you come to my house, I've got one at my dishwasher, I've got one at my hot water heater, every toilet, any place that there could be a water leak. I had and this is the great thing about our water tile, I had a water filtration system put in our house back in April. And the plumbers had to cut into the pipe. And usually there isn't any leaks from that, but there can be, especially with new plumbing work. So what I did is I took my water tile from my hot water tank and I put it underneath the pipes at the water filtration system, just so in case it leaked during the night when I was in bed, it would detect it and alert me. So that's another great thing about the water tiles, the portability. One thing I want to add too about the heat detectors, this came up last week in Canassa. I hadn't heard this. One of the attendees stopped by and we were talking about the heat detector, and he mentioned that some places may start to require customers that have electric vehicles to have the heat detector in the garage. As you know, some of these batteries catch on fire. The heat detector can then, of course, notify the fire department in the event that there is a fire in the garage due to the batteries exploding or catching on fire, because those fires tend to be pretty catastrophic to home once they happen. So that was another interesting thing I hadn't heard, but some places are apparently looking at requiring those to be in the garage when there's an electric vehicle present. And I have solar panels on my house with batteries. It's got me seriously considering putting one in there just because I have those lithium-ion batteries for the battery backup.
That's totally correct. Okay, there is a question that we have here, and is regarding the compatibility with the other systems that they use, the other PowerG enabled panels, right? So when we talk about the Power Series Neo, for example, people want to know if those new PowerG Plus devices are compatible with Power Series Neo and Power Series Pro, that are actually the most common panels used in the area. You want to
go? Yeah. So right now they're compatible in fallback mode or legacy mode. We're working on with the Neo refresh. having full compatibility with PowerG Plus. So you'll see that when the Neo Refresh project comes out. And of course, we're constantly working to bring all the other panels that weren't listed on that page up to par with our IQ line as far as support and compatibility.
Correct. And there is something interesting is that in the sticker, in the sticker itself of the module, you have the code that needs to be used when you use it in the fallback mode, right?
That's a good point.
So yeah, so you don't
see
get
if I can
confused, let's say, by you're not going to get confused by when you try to enroll the device in a Neo panel, for example. There in the device, it has the code that you have to use to enroll the device in the Neo panel.
Yeah, I'm getting my my vanishing contact open. Well, actually, I don't need to. I don't know if you can see it. There you go. You can see the fallback. There we go. So you see that fallback ID that Hernan was talking about.
Correct.
So obviously, that's not a great way to show it, but you can see that it's there. You can see where it's at, and then of course if you have to manually enroll the device, that would be what you would put into the panel.
Yeah, probably that's something that we need to add to our presentation later, just to share it with our customers, with our friends here.
Yeah, blown up sticker that kind of calls out what everything is, because we talked about the pin code. I don't know if you were able to see it when I held up the vanishing contact, but that's a good example too of something that that will be needed if two-factor authentication is enabled. And that's something I forgot to mention when it comes to two-factor authentication and the dealer lockdown. Both of those are disabled by default. So if you're a dealer and you want to utilize those features, you have to enable those yourself. And that way, we did it off by default just for ease, and that way it gives the dealer complete and total control over the installation experience that they have.
Okay, good. Well, right now there are no other questions here, so we're going to be sending this video to everyone that attended, and in fact, everyone that registered. We're going to be also uploading this video to our YouTube channel that we encourage you to follow as well. Well, if you have any other questions, you can contact us as well to any of us in the JCI team, and we will be able to help you. I think we have also here our friend. Let's see if he's still here. Our friend Christian, right? You may know Christian. Christian is our sales manager in charge of the Caribbean countries. So very likely you would already know him. If not, here he is. I don't know, Christian, if you can probably just say hi to our friends.
Well, it's not Christian, it's Daniel. Christian is
it's Daniel.
busy right now, so I'm supporting him. But of course, Christian is on my side, so he will be open to support any of the customers in the Caribbean. I know he will be waiting if you need him. Will be available through the distributor. You can reach him easily through Silmar, maybe. He's in charge of all the countries in the Caribbean.
Amazing. Thank you, Danny. Okay,
No, you're welcome.
So thank you very much for the people that joined today. I know it's a tough time for many of our customers in the region, but we're very glad that you guys could make it to this webinar. If you're hearing this recording from YouTube, please like and subscribe as always. Stay tuned for new webinars that we're going to have in the coming weeks and months. From our side, I think this is everything. Max, thank you, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for being here, for sharing the information. Everyone, have a great end of the week and end of the day. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.